Yeah, I think the big thing was the rapid testing and our COVID-19 testing plan. That was the difference maker, which has made a big difference. And I know Doc Sladky can go into some of the specifics about that, but the fact that we have rapid testing now, and that we also have a solid plan in all of our other protocols. Well, I mean, in the end, health and safety and doing this in a safe manner was the only litmus test to be able to move forward. Obviously there are economic realities, but we were prepared to, if we weren't going to play a football program, we were looking at budget scenarios with that. So obviously that's a positive outcome from this decision, but it is not a driver.
I think the other thing to keep in mind is that for the vast majority of our players, they've been able to stay on campus or near campus and do conditioning and weightlifting from a socially distanced, masked standpoint, respecting all of the local regulations, but they've been able to keep in reasonable shape through some training, even through these tough periods where everything else has been shut down. So I think, just having that extended weightlifting conditioning period helps them. And then the coaching staff has also been great, really working with us to develop this sort of ramp up into activity. I think acclimatization and reacclimatization is a big focus in our COVID world now. And it's something we're going to see even as we go into the season when teams have to adjust if they get positives or anything like that. So I think the coaching staff has a great plan in place, and medically we work really closely with them on that. I think it's certainly, in the world we live in, a concern, and it's something we're paying very close attention to. But I think we have some good things in place that are helping to mitigate that.
Well, obviously our guys were really excited to get an opportunity to compete and play. Our coaches, staff, I know our fans, everyone's excited about the opportunity to play football. And we've had, we've been lifting and running and really working on conditioning and preparing. Much like we actually had more time to lift and run than we normally have, and we're going to have our regular camp with a ramp up and that we normally have, our acclimation period and all that. But our guys were extremely excited. We had a very, very positive day today. It's our first practice. I guess we've had a 1 hour practice and now a 2 hour practice. So our guys are excited and ready to go, and we can't wait till October 24th. And obviously we got a lot of work to do, just as everybody else does. But I'm excited to have the opportunity, and obviously we want to keep our guys safe. And that's first and foremost. And but we're excited about the opportunity to move forward, get an opportunity to compete and compete for a Mountain West championship. The key is obviously you have to handle each player individually. But by the most part, we're not going to put somebody in a position that is not in the condition to be able to play the game safely. Now, competitively, yeah, it's a whole different deal. I mean, but everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's got to get ready. Competitively, it's a little bit more of a challenge because it's been a while since we've played. So, but as far as the safety of being able to teach the game and our guys being safe and being in condition to do it, obviously it's a unique circumstance and a unique situation. But I think we're well prepared, and then I think the communication's the key. Obviously, we're treat and work with each person individually on where they're at from their conditioning and their readiness to be able to compete and to do it safely. So no doubt in my mind that it is enough time to be able to get ready and do it, because it's pretty much how we do it every year. But there are some extenuating circumstances. This is not just any other year, but no doubt I think it's enough time. Obviously, as a football coach, you always want more practice, and from a competitive standpoint, it's a challenge. But first and foremost, I can guarantee you, our team, which includes our medical team, our coaching staff, trainers, equipment staff, everybody here, our administration, we're never going to put kids in harm's way, and we're going to make sure we take care of them. And so, no doubt in my mind, it's enough time to play the game and play it safely. I think the most important thing is how well we adapt. Obviously there's new things, probably more new things on defense than there is on offense, but there's still new things. It's just being able to not, coaches, we're creatures of habit. And so you have a tendency to, hey, this is not a normal situation, because probably one of the biggest things is not having spring from a competitive standpoint. So what we can execute is going to be the key, to not beat yourself and to be able to establish and create some discipline from a standpoint that you don't have a lot of penalties, you don't turn the football over. And those are two things that we really want to get a whole lot better at, is taking care of the football and not having negative plays. And so the biggest challenge is just going to be execution and making sure that you draw that line on what you can execute, that you don't, if you try to do too much schematically, you're going to so usually in a season, you'll kind of come into the season and you'll be where you're at, and you'll have all your packages in. Whereas this year, you're going to kind of build it as you move through. And there's a lot of strategy to that with 8 games and how you go about doing that. We're first day acclimation period. So obviously we're non-contact, helmets only for the first 2 days. We take off. We don't go on Sundays. So we'll take off Sunday. And then we'll be in shells for the next 2 days. And then on Wednesday, it'll be the first day of full pads. And that's what's called our acclimation period. And then we'll progress forward from there. And we pretty much take off every Sunday. And then sometimes, just depending on where we're at, with our guys, is how much, contact we have. It just varies quite a bit. We'll work really hard on trying to keep our guys fresh and keep them recuperated. And the biggest thing is going to be teaching and really, coaching the fundamentals, being fundamentally sound as a football team. And so obviously you need a lot of reps and a lot of work there, but just being efficient with that. We don't practice very long. We meet and teach in the classroom, and we don't practice more than 2 hours. So that's kind of our plan as we go through it. And just, our deal is it's a normal 5-day acclimation period, and then we'll work into it. Usually we have a couple of scrimmages before we play, inter squad wise, and we'll probably only have one from that standpoint. And they might consist in the practices. So we're looking at, we're being innovative in how we approach it, and preparing our guys, but it's a very unique and a one of a kind plan. It's a very, very different plan than we're normally.
We have our first step now with the Mountain West. Our second step is working for the travel for people going in and out. The next step after that will be looking at the fans in attendance, if they can be. We'll have anywhere from no fans to, obviously I don't think, we will be at full capacity. So we just have to do it one step at a time. And that's really step 3 to me, that we start working on that. And we do work on in parallel. Obviously it would be great if we could have fans in a socially distanced, safe manner for our, that would be great for the team. I think for the community, and as well as our players. That home, that's where you get the home field advantage, but we'll do one step at a time. And hopefully, that would be nice to get to that reality where we can have some fans especially on December 19th.